man, lots to go over. Welcome to the June 2024 market update. Please take a moment, like the video, subscribe to our channel. I will be putting out more information about neighborhoods around the greater Sacramento region and constantly giving you updates on the market and on various aspects of the real estate industry. So stay tuned for that. Wow, we are almost halfway through the year. We are navigating an election year as well, so I think that's going to get a little bit interesting the closer we get. GameStop's back in the news. I'm not going to get into that. If you know, you know. But for right now, housing market it's moving very well. It's strong, but we are definitely feeling some affordability issues, and that is translating to both buyers and sellers. So looking at the market, there have been some calls from the current administration to help the housing market by offering some incentives in whatever way that shows up. Very reminiscent of 2009 when we started seeing the tax credits for first-time home buyers. So we'll see what happens. If memory serves, I think that was about $8,000 for owner-occupant or first-time home buyers. I do expect that we'll see the current administration shift policy on some things as we get into the next 5 months. They're probably going to position to be a little bit more neutral on certain things and try to increase favorability before November. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking at that more so just from the economic side. I try not to get into the politics of things, but looking at the impact that that could have on my accounts, my pocketbook, my business, and those around me. I want to understand how's that going to impact our economy. So that being said, inflation is seeing some relief in the data, but I don't feel like the average Joe is quite feeling it yet. Unemployment saw a slight increase. That's one of those good news, bad news situations. So even though unemployment's up a little bit, it's not enough that the Fed felt comfortable issuing a rate cut. We will see. I'd say the camps are 50-50 on that right now, whether we'll see a rate cut this year or whether they may push that to the beginning of next year. So that remains to be seen. Interestingly, while the economic reports are showing continued strength in the economy overall, credit card serious delinquency hit an all-time high. So it makes me feel like there's just a big disparity between Main Street and Wall Street. And the Fed does have a balancing act. They really have to be very cautious about when and how much they drop rates. If they drop rates too much too early, it could reignite the inflation, and that could just be a huge problem for the economy. If they wait too long, it could drive some things toward a recession. So they're going to have to really, really balance that decision when they make it. So let's dig into real estate. That's why you're here, right? So for the greater Sacramento region, this is the Tri-County area, Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado counties. Data indicates we are still seeing what could be interpreted as a more traditional real estate cycle. So the spring season has been ramping up. It has been solid. We're seeing a lot of sales. Things are moving well. Market activity is strong. We're still just seeing a lot less volume than we would have in prior years. So market activity. The numbers for May. The number of homes jumped up by 18.9%, homes for sale. That's a strong uptick for this season. Pendings are up 11.8%, and the number of homes sold is up 6.8% for the month of May. Time on market improved. It's down to 25 days, which is great. Homes are still selling about 99% of the list price, which is totally fine. We don't really want to see the crazy overbidding because that just creates a more complicated market for everyone. And keep in mind, these are averages for the region. So depending on your price, your neighborhood, your home style, whatever the case is, these numbers could be different for you specifically. If you'd like a consultation about buying or selling, I'd be glad to set that up and go through everything with you specifically for your situation. So good news, the median sales price remained flat for the Tri-County area. It is $600,000. The average active listing price saw a 1.8% reduction. That is interesting. To me, that indicates that sellers are getting a little bit more realistic on where market values actually are. They're coming on the market at a more appropriate price for their market value. So while average listing price saw a 1.8% reduction, the sales price held stable. So good news there. Months of inventory increased from 1.6 to 1.7 months, totally normal for this time of year. We always see that inventory increase, and inventory usually peaks out around July or August for the year before it starts to drop off again heading into winter. So still totally normal cycles right now. If you're a home seller, my advice is work with what you've got. I would say the window for sellers may be coming to an end soon. We're winding down that seller spring season, and we're going to be getting into the buyer summer season. So if you've got a good offer on the table, work with it, see what you can put together, because I'm not sure that anything better is going to be coming on the market or coming to you if you wait and extend your time on market. So that's my advice. If you're a buyer, I would say, get clear about what you're looking for, identify your needs, not your wants, and make a transaction. I've seen too many folks sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect situation, and it's just not going to happen. A lot of people have been waiting for rates to come down, waiting for prices to come down, waiting for the perfect home for their family, and it's just not happening, and they've been waiting for years at this point. So I would say this doesn't have to be your forever home. It doesn't have to be 10 out of 10. In fact, as a buyer, honestly, at any price range, if you're a buyer and you're getting 7 out of 10 things that you want, you're doing great. I can tell you, even in the $2-3 million price points, buyers do not get 10 out of 10. There's always something that's just not quite right. So work with what you've got. Buy the location, buy the bones, and if you don't like the paint color, paint the house. Work that into the sales price somehow. So that's my advice for buyers and sellers. Let's focus on Placer County. Number of homes for sale is up 15.6%. Pendants are up 9.9%, and the number of sales increased 7.8%. So Placer County also seeing really strong activity and totally in line for the spring season. Time on market drastically improved, so it dropped from 34 days down to only 26 days. That's quite a jump. That's great. Homes are selling slightly better. They are up 1% to 99% of the list price. And the median sales price was almost flat. It did increase 0.4%, so it's up to $675,000 in Placer County. So this indicates while homes may be selling faster and improving, that flat sales price tells me buyers and sellers are not really negotiating higher prices. They're just negotiating to move faster. So inventory increased in Placer County from 1.6 to 1.7 months, totally in line with the market. And again, we see that increase. Sellers, pay attention to your competition, and buyers over the next few months, you might get a little bit more to choose from. Hard to say whether it's going to be, prime inventory and really great properties. I think those are still going to get snatched up really quick. Some of the less desirable homes may sit a little bit longer, but again, all these things are averages, so your individual situation could be different. I would say, overall, don't wait for rates. We had a lot of folks back in 2022 that said, oh my gosh, rates are going up. Yeah, well, they'll never hit 5. Oh, well, they'll never hit 6. Well, they'll never hit 7. Well, they hit 7. In fact, they almost touched 8, I believe, before they backed off. So just because somebody tells you, oh, rates are going to be dropping soon and there's going to be this many number of rate cuts and rates are going to get back to, doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Those things are impossible to predict. So do the best with what you have today, and I wish you the best in the housing market. We will be back next month.